classes are in the process of making this happen. Another group that works closely with the Growing Center is Eagle Eye Institute. They received a grant which will be part of their mission of teaching urban young people about the environment.
So this is the bird sanctuary that we were awarded a grant from the Neighborhood Improvement Council. And Mark Fort and myself and Lenine Pina, we actually started doing the rough-scaping, moving all these stones over here and breaking up actual stones with a sledgehammer to do the top over there, but we're not finished.
Anthony Sanchez is co-founder of Eagle Eye Institute, and to get a better understanding of this Somerville-based nonprofit organization, we took our cameras to Peru, Massachusetts, where Eagle Eye does most of its work. It all starts with introductions.
Hi, I'm Anthony. Sac passé, huh? Sac passé. I'm just learning a little bit, right? So maybe today you'll teach me a little bit more. I live in Somerville, right near Porter Square. And we, Maja and myself, we're the directors and founders of Eagle Eye Institute, and we run this program called Learn About the Forest. And it's really to get you out of the city, to teach you something about nature, and to get you to understand that nature is really important for us, all of us.
Part of the program is also to introduce you to environmental professionals, and they all have, our teachers all have a different focus, and they might tell us a little bit about what they do, that if you're interested in the field, you might talk to them throughout the course of the day. They're available to talk about maybe where they went to school, what they had to study to be in the profession that they're in.
My name's Ken, and I work for the state. I work for the Department of Environmental Management as an urban forester. I deal a lot with cities on tree matters. I make recommendations to a lot of the cities and towns on what kind of trees that you plant and what are the best trees to plant in certain areas. I help people understand more about trees and the importance of them.
My name is Bill, and I work as a consulting forester. What that means is that I get paid by landowners to manage their woodlands, and most of the woodlands I manage look a lot like this, although I actually work closer to Boston. And I went to a 4-year program. After high school I went to college and I studied for 4 years to be a forester.
Eagle Eye is an environmental education organization. Our mission is to provide environmental education programs as an introduction to the environment with a focus on urban youth, actually on urban people, with an emphasis on underserved urban youth.
You know, we've had the Haitian community here, the Jovenes Latinos here. We're going to have a whole Cambodian group here from Lowell. We'll have shelter kids here. All the different underserved elements of the community. And our whole thing is to, you know, educate them about the environment, because a lot of the dumping and environmental, disasters happen in their communities, in their neighborhoods.
On this day, the Haitian youth group from the Somerville Community Partnership spent the day learning about the forest. Eagle Eye works closely with other Somerville and Cambridge-based organizations to reach as many youth as possible, but the Community Partnership has been there from the start.
We hooked up with them originally 4 years ago when we had this idea. They were organizing youth around alternatives to drug and alcohol abuse. And we said to them, we'll offer you a free program to come out into the forest and do a Learn About the Forest program.
Anthony came to make presentation to our organization, say, listen, and this is a good place for teenagers to take them out from the city, that we can teach them about the environments. They can have fun, they can enjoy it all day. So in basic, that's the way we get connection.
Teaching starts almost immediately after the students arrive, but it begins more formally in the afternoon.
Might start right here. This is a tree that's really common to the northeast. These big trees here. See these here? And that's in your book I just gave. These are sugar maples. If you come out here in the forest areas, a lot of people, tourists, come out this area because of the foliage. You see in the picture here, the colors on the sugar maple are really brilliant in the fall. I just picked this out. This is another insect that I just found there. You can see the little pineapples on it. That's caused by an insect. That's called spruce gall adelgid.
Is this some kind of moth?
It'll turn into a moth, but it's some kind of caterpillar right now. It's feeding feeding on the leaves of something. But I would have to key it out. I don't know what it is. It's probably feeding on the leaves of this tree, this red maple here.
Did they show us that?
Let him back on. Let him do his job.
Look at that move.
Yeah. This one here, this is another kind of fern. This is probably hay-scented fern. It's a snail. Ooh. See him? There's his head right there. Just wanted to show you this, how a tree replenishes itself. These are the seeds. These are the cones. The seeds are inside here. And what happens is when it first comes out, this is green, and it's all tight and closed up. And the seeds are in between here. And in the spring, it dries out over winter, and then in the spring, it opens up and all the seed falls out. And that's how a tree is trying to replenish itself. And if you look carefully here, you see all the holes in the tree there. And that's, a lot of times that's homes for birds, squirrels.
This looks like woodpeckers.
Woodpeckers probably cause the holes. Other animals will end up using the tree as a home.
Our teachers are all volunteer. They're resource professionals. And this year we're running 10 programs, 10 one-day programs, and we have 13 teachers. So no one teacher really has to do more than 2 programs during the summer. Because, like I said, they all volunteer their time, and it's a full-day program.
Il y a une forme différente que puis eu joindre dans villa, dans Somerville. Dans Somerville.
In fact, one of our teachers, Bill Lavick, as we heard, used to be a Peace Corps volunteer in Haiti, so he knows Creole, and that's really teaching in their own language, even though they may understand English. I think they probably don't get a lot of teaching except from their family situations in Haitian, or in Creole, I should say.
What I was teaching the kids was about differences between forest trees and urban trees, but coming from a perspective of, in urban areas, when a tree gets sick for really similar reasons than a tree might get sick out here, for diseases, pests, and just ropes or chains around the tree. And you find the same thing out here. But we allow, in a forest environment, we want to have standing dead trees. And we're also looking at what happens with the beaver pond when the beavers leave. That there are reasons why the trees die, but that in time, you know, a cycle will continue and trees will come back.
The students were also taught some hands-on tree care.
One of the reasons why we prune apple trees is for fruit production. The reason why you want to prune them is for airflow and to take out all the dead wood. The dead wood is unnecessary growth, and it actually can cause more harm to the tree because it brings in insects and diseases. So we're going to go in and we're going to prune these trees today for fruit production. We're trying to bring these trees back so that they produce fruit for the animals, you know, the wildlife, and also for us as humans. You know, we want to have apples to eat. This is it's not something that you're going to see instant results. It's a process because these trees have gone too far to. That's why they haven't produced good fruit now. But if you said, you know, you came in this year and then you came back next year and do the, you know, take a little bit off the top, open up a little bit more, you're going to see each year that you're going to start getting more and more fruit.
Another important part of the Eagle Eye story is how the Institute began. Anthony and Maja are husband and wife, but it started back when Anthony was still an undergrad at Hampshire College in Amherst.
When I was there, I had this dream to have this institute called Eagle Eye Institute. Had the name down. It was going to be an institute of higher learning.
He met Maja at Interface years later in Cambridge, and they both shared the dream of having a retreat center in the woods. A friend of theirs showed them some land in Canada by way of their friend's private plane.
And then we found some nice pieces of property, but then we talked about it. We said, God, you know, we don't have a private plane. Well, how are we going to get up here for a weekend? It's like, this is ridiculous. So
after looking at land in places as far off as Hawaii, Anthony and Maja finally found this area in Peru. The down payment on the property was a little steep until miraculously, Maja won $10,000 in a little-known travel contest.
And that was the down payment for the property.
So now, through their unselfish ambition, Eagle Eye is well underway. There's even a waterfall to cool down students after a long day of learning about the forest.
A lot of these kids have never been in the forest before. So this is all new, and I think in any new environment, there's some fear involved. It's really nice to see the young people in such a short period of time. They're here for about 6-7 hours. Really get relaxed and really get comfortable with being in nature and just starting to really enjoy it and appreciate it.
You know, I look at the kids' faces when they come. When they get off the van, they don't know us, they're a little distant, the environment's strange. But by the time they leave, they're living, they're laughing, they're having fun, they're kidding around. Their energy changes. And it has something to do with the experience of being in nature like this, without buildings and stuff and cars and just the sounds of nature, and also the experience of what we're trying to do with them.
Another surprising fact is that no one gets paid for working at Eagle Eye. Anthony and Maja don't draw a salary. Only the volunteer coordinator does. And with each passing year, Eagle Eye Institute offers more programs for young people. They now have a 3-day overnight program, and they're looking to expand that to 7 days for the future. And that's not the only thing in their plans.
We want to be able to build a bathhouse over here, a dining facility behind it. Here we want a main house built here. We want a solar greenhouse built in the thing for our energy. Down there we want cabins built. Up top we need an administration building.
Most of their funding comes from individuals. They have an annual brunch where students serve their supportive guests. Last year, Mayor Capuano gave an inspiring talk at the brunch on the importance of green space to a city like Somerville. Eagle Eye Institute has been awarded grants from the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Management, the Somerville Neighborhood Improvement Council, and they receive in-kind support from McDonald's restaurants and Budget Rent-A-Car.
We live in a disposable society. Everybody's throwing everything away and using the environment, and I think that some of that's okay. You know, the earth is here for us to use as human beings, but not to abuse. And those people who have always lived in the city and have never had a chance to really see nature, how it coexists with itself, can really see how if we're more in touch with our environment and more responsible and respectful of it, we can live in harmony with it and still use the environment, but keep it for future generations.
Back in Somerville at the Community Growing Center, the Neighborhood Improvement Council has provided some funding to bring the environmental teaching experience back to the urban setting in the new plans for the Eagle Eye Institute's bird sanctuary in this corner.
What we're thinking is, you know, to cut it off about up there somewhere, you know, maybe 10 feet, and then have a bird feeder coming off like this, hanging. But then here, on this flat place right here, we like to have a bird bath coming up here. So the bird bath is up at this level, so that the birds could fly off of here, fly into the bird bath, and then fly down into the, you know, plant material, and then fly back up. And we're also going to put another fence here too, kind of a stock fence that'll come here, and some lattice that'll go on that side with wisteria growing up.